Miss Marcotte here. We're going to talk about Virginia today. Is Virginia an important state? What do you think? Here is Virginia. Think about it, the state that we live in. Virginia is an important state. It has an important past. Virginia started at Jamestown over 400 years ago. That's way before we were even born. It was a place where the American Indians and the people from England tried to learn to live together. That was so long ago, boys and girls. We have some important leaders from Virginia, too. Let's read for a minute.
Jamestown begins. Why do you think the settlers are building a very tall fence around the place they chose to live? Word to know. Permanent. Permanent. Something that lasts for a very long time. A new settlement. Jamestown was the first permanent English settlement in North America. This is where Virginia started over 400 years ago. It was a place where the American Indians and people from England tried to learn to live side by side. It was not an easy task. Do you think these men are friends? Why or why not? What questions do you think they would like to ask each other?
Do you think those men are friends? What questions do you think they would ask each other? Notice those nonfiction text features that you see. I see a heading, Jamestown Begins. I see bold words, highlighted words. I see another heading, a new settlement. Let's go back. Jamestown became the first permanent English settlement in North America. Wow, that's important. We have an important state, Virginia, boys and girls. Look at those photographs. Would you want to live in a house like that? That's a house from long ago. We also have some important leaders from Virginia, too. I see a photograph of George Washington, and I see a photograph of Thomas Jefferson. These photographs are from long ago. Let's learn about George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Think about what questions you might have about George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. First, George Washington. Hopefully you remember we learned about George Washington when we learned about money. Fun fact, he's on the dollar bill. Here's some new things you might not know about George Washington. He was born in Virginia. He was our first president of the United States. He was known as the father of our country. He led the fight for freedom from England and helped establish a new country. And again, like I said, fun fact, he is on the dollar bill. Right there. Let's read about George Washington in our online social studies textbook. I see a heading, and I see lots of photographs. Let's read about George Washington. Let's listen.
To be free. The American Revolution was a war fought between America and Great Britain. The war lasted for many years. Many brave soldiers, including Indians, fought and died. Word to know: revolution. Revolution. A fight by many people to change the government. American soldiers often wore coats of blue, but many had no uniforms at all. The British soldiers wore coats of bright red, so the Americans called them redcoats. George Washington was from Virginia. He was a brave soldier and a great leader. Freedom. George Washington was picked to lead the American soldiers into war. Fighting started in the North, but the final battle of the war took place in Yorktown, Virginia. Washington helped America win. The United States became a new country. The Battle of Yorktown in Virginia was the last battle of the American Revolution. What is happening in this picture?
Think about what is happening in that picture. Let's read some more about George Washington. I see a heading here, our first president. That tells me this page is going to be about our first president. Let's click on the speaker and listen.
Our first president, George Washington. When America asked him to do something to help, George Washington said yes. He never gave up, even if what he was doing was very hard. He was our country's first leader, so we call him the father of our country. Mount Vernon. George Washington was born in Virginia. He grew up to be a farmer and a soldier. When he was a grown-up, he lived in this house at Mount Vernon. Washington leading his soldiers. Washington led the army when America went to war against Great Britain. He was so brave. After the war, George Washington became the first president of our country, the brand new United States. His leadership helped our new country grow strong. We honor George Washington in many ways. His face is on our most used bills and coins. Can you name another way we honor our first president?
Think about another way we honor our first president. Let's look at Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson, I see his photograph right here. He was also born in Virginia. He was the third president of the United States. He was also a leader who developed a new country. And a fun fact about Thomas Jefferson, he is on the $2 bill, boys and girls, a $2 bill. So if you have a $2 bill, you will see Thomas Jefferson's picture on there. Let's read about Thomas Jefferson. I see the heading, a great leader. Let's listen to information about Thomas Jefferson.
A great leader. Jefferson built this house in Monticello. Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson was good at a lot of things. He loved music, science, and reading. He liked to invent, build things, and work in his garden. He was also very smart and a great writer. Thomas Jefferson was born in Virginia. He enjoyed a quiet life at his home in Monticello until he was asked to help form a new nation. Jefferson left his home to help his country. Jefferson was given the job of writing the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration said that America was free from rule by Great Britain. Writing the Declaration of Independence was such a difficult job. Jefferson became the third president of the United States. Today we remember Jefferson as one of America's most important presidents and a great man who helped build our nation. Mount Rushmore is a mountain with 4 of America's greatest presidents carved into it. Point to Jefferson. Jefferson has been honored in so many ways. His face is on our nickel and $2 bill. Do you know what building is on the back of the nickel?
His face is on the nickel and $2 bill. Hopefully you remember that from when we studied money also. His face is on the nickel. Miss Marcotte didn't put that. His face was on the nickel. I hope you're making some connections. So that was Thomas Jefferson. So we're going to do some more activities with Jamestown and Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. I hope you enjoy them. Bye, Smart Cookies.